Okay, there we are. So we have friends of the LinkedIn, YouTube, and also my Facebook group, Conquer Burnout. Right? So once again, everybody, welcome. This is Dr. Rao Kulusu, um, opening my evening room. I hope you are all doing well and you had a nice weekend. And today I don't have a topic I want to talk about, but then there will be several topics coming up in this presentation. This is about a ebook I just almost finished, um, and this book is about how can we revive our earth with minimalism, right? Several people wrote about it, but then uh, the minimalism is itself is a part of yogic lifestyle where you live very simply outwardly and rich inner thinking. That's basically. But then they don't think; they just meditate and they go into deeper wisdom and all that, right? Uh, but then, if the earth problem is something that we are all worried about, we all want it to be revived, right? But then the way people are going about uh, using energy and digging up the earth for energy is really happening, right? So my solution is why so much of consumerism? Why people are using so many things for simple pleasures, right? And then they discover down the line all they were pursuing for the simple external pleasures is not a big deal at all, and actually it is so transient. They are always looking for something else after that. So the solution for that was to turn inward and really realize that blissful self. Thereby, you don't really care for that much external pressures, and then you will be a prudent consumer, not a rampant, not thinking consumer, right? So our consumer behavior will change, and we'll have either use less or we use intelligently so that it doesn't hurt our earth. So recycle, all those things we can put a lot of energy into, right? We are, right? But then not needing so many things is the lesson that you learn when you discover your inner joy, right? So once you are like that, you can contribute to the Earth's revival by being a minimalist because you have inner joy. See the connection? Self realization, inner joy, and less consumerism, revive our planet. That is the order I'm going to, right? So the things I teach my people is I always tell them there are four goals for me. One is wellness of the individual, which I help with the proactive wellness, with the wellness club, with all the coaching I do for enhancement of the human being. All these can go to the uh, wellness of the individual, and then wellness of the society of ours. Okay, the divisions, the problem with thinking in a parochial way, and really thinking that we are body minds, but we are not. We don't really realize who we are. All those things, right? They are addressed towards the societal ills, right? So working for the society wellness as a group, as a country, as a world, that's the second one. And the third one is really working for the wellness of the planet. Actually, I consider that's the most important, most immediate, and most needed, right? So, the consumerism I identified as the real root of the problems, where we chop off the woods, we kind of destroy the earth in so many ways, right? For our own electricity, for our own consumerism habits. Okay, so cutting down, going to the minimalism is possible when you have discovered your joy inside, and you don't have to have so many things outside to make yourself really happier, or really find the peace and joy within, right? So I train people on that. And then the last one in my life is this self-realization. So four goals: wellness of the individual, wellness of the society, wellness of the planet, and then self-realization for individual, where we really know who we are, right? So those are the four. So I'm also one of the sadhakas or practitioners in the last category that I told you about. Okay, so it's one thing to think that we know the stuff, but the other thing is to really know whether we have really living all the time there or not. Okay, so everybody can be their own judge about whether they're self-realized or not. Okay, this is how this book has evolved. Okay, so once you understand this is the way it is, then you understand the book's title, and the book is titled as Minimalism for Earth's Revival: A Path to Inner Joy. Actually, once you have a path to inner joy, then you become minimalist, and you are happy with it. And because of the minimalist, you have less consumption of earth's resources, and that is how you're going to revive the earth. So that's the pattern in which it goes. Okay, it may sound crazy to you, but how this has started is, I was very concerned about the earth as a whole ever since I came to know what is happening with all the chopping the woods, all the global heat. And I was actually in touch with the scientific papers since 1980s, and the scientists were saying even at the time how dangerously close we are to extinction, right? So they said if you don't do this in a few years, we will march towards that, and we are marching towards that. There's a real. So all the other things do not matter if you don't save our earth, our planet, right? um, I remember Jay Krishnamurti used to talk about our earths are, he used to talk as though he is holding the earth in his hands lovingly, and said, our earths are our beautiful earth. We are destroying it. We are not paying attention to what is happening. And so he used to bring home all the destruction that was going on earth in 1980s. Okay, 83, 84, I think. So I was impressed by his presentation, and I was more impressed by his solution. See, what he said was, the only way we can do something for the earth is if we bring about a revolution in our consciousness, in our awareness of what's going on with the earth. And the rest of the, you can talk about it, you can say, but then you may not change your habits, you may not be very impactful with other people. But once you really understand what this is all about, and that awareness is spread all around, then people will participate in it. So it's basically, even now, if you see how many people are really feel urgency in this matter, really feel like there's a danger, and this planet may not be hospitable or livable for our kids. Already we saw that with the 23 is probably recorded as the warmest year in the last 200, something like that. Okay, so it's a real indication of where we are going, right? And this was warned in 1980s by the scientists. Nobody gave a damn about it. So, but it is marching pretty fast. So it's not like a my own imagination. It's not like a some fashion and all that. It's a real problem. I have two children. and those two children would love to have a nice planet, would not like to have this heat that we experienced last summer, right? So that's why I think not only my children, for all children, I think we should really be cognizant about the danger and really question why we are consuming so many resources. Other thing was, when I studied this ancient wisdom, one thing was very noticeable was this basically the people who are sages, who are saints, and they had one thing very conspicuous was they were really using minimal resources to live by. Okay, so they did not waste anything, and they were very conservative about the resources of the earth. And we make a big deal about recycling and doing all of that. I think we do it very little compared to what I saw with other people too. So that kind of use of minimal resources should be more like a practical, intelligent, and you don't have to sacrifice so much as you mind you are aware of what the destruction can be if you allow this rampant consumerism, rampant commercialism, and all this wastage goes on, right? So that's where it started, the whole idea for the book. The thing is, uh, that is an immediate emergency thing that we need to save our earth. Okay, the cause is the consumerism, but where you consumerism has to is not going because people are looking for happiness, pleasure in external things, right? And that's why they need all the so much of power, so much of so many things they do, and they don't have even awareness that they could recycle lots of stuff, right? So then why they are going outwardly, why they are going so many things that they need for the pleasure and happiness is because many people don't realize that the real happiness is inside. See, we are brought up to think that our happiness is outside. And that's why we're always going outward, the pleasures, vacations, all, but they don't satisfy, they're transient. And then once we discover the abundance, the blissful heart, the tranquil mind is within ourselves. It's already there, and we just need to go back to that. That's where really you find the. Then you say, okay, I don't need to have all these outward things, but I'm very peaceful and blissful inside. I will get what is needed, but why do I have to have so much, right? That kind of attitude. That's where I adopted minimalism. But prior to that, I was kind of touching that, abundance with him, right? Which I always talk about. We have to turn inward. We have to realize who we are. We are in ancient wisdom. They said Sat Chit Anand. Sat means existence, Chit means consciousness, and the other one is Anand, that is the blissfulness, and that is there. So once you are responsible to the earth, once you know that the happiness is within, doing one thing like turning inward, discovering your pleasure makes you much better, much less consumer because you already have what you need to, and you don't have to go outward to things and spend all the energy, all the things, right? So that's the logic behind it. Okay, um, I think every human being, his life purpose is to really know who they are, that awareness, that consciousness, that being that we are. We have to really turn inward and calm our mind and really discover that abundance is within us. Once you have that, then you don't have to go out and really use up the resources of the earth. And then what happens? You will help the earth, you will help yourself. So that's where I'm coming from. Okay, hopefully you all understand what I'm talking about. So That's how this evolved. So in this book, you will see my arguments about minimalism, my arguments about rampant consumerism against, and my arguments about inner joy. My argument is about how to really get that, and then really contribute to the earth as a whole. Okay, hopefully that makes sense for people who are listening to this. But many people don't care, and many people don't know that this is earth destruction. Like for example, in this country, what's going on now is there's a whole section of people don't believe that there's so much damage to the earth is happening and global warming is real. They tasted these extreme temperatures last season, and they are going. Now they are saying that will be aberrant. But you know what the ecologists and the other people told? They said in the next few years, as you go into 4 or 5 years into the future, this kind of heat is going to be much worse. There's a La Nina that is there, the weather change. But then, even without that, it's going to be pretty hot, I believe. It is going to be hot because of the La Nina is there, but then it is not going to go down afterwards either. So, even in my own lifetime, from the time I was in Chicago and New York and here in Iowa, I see the snow was much more in 80s in Chicago, and New York also in 90s. I was there in New York, and 2015 or no 1995 I came to Iowa, and I was here. You can see progressively the amount of snow that we are getting during the winter has gone down, right? There was a lot more snow in Chicago because of the lake effect, they said. But then when I went to New York, there was also a lot of snow. And then it has gone down now everywhere. So that's not good for us to get our water for the farming and all that. So there's a definite change in the climate, but we know about it in 80s thanks to the senior scientists, and we can see for ourselves too. So this kind of thing that was happening is not really good. Okay, so we got to wake up. We got to be urgent about changing the climate, where really the scientists are telling you now, unless you start doing it now and do it at a major scale, which is not happening, you are threatened. So at least at the citizen level, at least at the participant of the society and the inhabitant of this earth, we can do it independent. My solution is independent, turn inward, realize who you are, experience the joy, and then you don't need to go outward for other joys so that you don't be a consumer of the resources of the earth, and thereby you help the earth by reviving it, and also you have an impact on other people who are really looking at that, and they say, I'm going to help, I'm going to do my bit in my life, and thereby I can help. That's why I wrote this book. I mentioned about several historical figures in there, and I mentioned about this unselfish work by somebody that is helping everybody else, that kind of thing too. Okay, so the book will start with why we have to do this. Then it will explain to the terms. So for those people who don't know what is minimalism, that is already active in this country. There are people who have a small suitcase and they have one or two pieces of clothes, and then that's it. They don't have any furniture. They don't have any electronics. All those things they don't carry, but just carry that small suitcase that they have, and then they go and they live in places that are free, and they try to educate people. I saw this movie on Netflix. It's called Minimalism. That movie, I think we should you should all see that. Okay, it's called Minimalism, right? So once you are really have this mindset, when you say I don't want so many things here in the room, your productivity actually goes up. You feel better because you don't have this overwhelm of all these things that you are not using anymore. So that kind of thing. So a rule is only keep the things that you need, and then if you really have so many things that you cannot use, give it away to people who want to take them and use them. And then if you don't want to give it away, you spend some money, sell it, sell it, and you will be able to use it better, right? So mm, this throwaway society, they call this country, that's also good in a way, not good in a way. It's good in a way because you are organizing everything yourself and you don't waste time finding things and all that. Okay, that is a good thing. The bad thing is because it's a throwaway society, you use things too short, not too long time, because they can go out of work. They don't work anymore. So that is there too. So you don't quality product that is going to last long, so that you don't have to recycle it, or you don't have to produce it. See this kind of thing about storage and then throwing it away, and then really don't use them also. Okay, for years they will be staying in the garage or attic or in the storage room, right? That's what is happening all the time. So we want to see that too. So understand all those dynamics. Okay, then once you participate in that minimalism and enjoying the freedom from arranging things or maintaining things at home, that also helps you a lot. Okay, your energy, your uh, 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 capacity to work, all those things will be helped, right? So don't have clutter, don't have a lot of things that you don't need, you know, um, and then you can go. I don't know what's happening with this. Are there any okay? There's a message from somebody from the Wisdom app. So I was thinking maybe they're having problems getting on this place. Okay. Um, so that may be it because nobody really appeared there. So let's go back and then come back. Okay. It froze. Maybe that's what it is. That's what's happening probably. That's why they are trying to send me a message. Let's shut it off and then put it on. Maybe that will come back. Sorry about that, but I was thinking that they are already that is available for them. I saw people coming on the clubhouse, but on the Wisdom app there was nobody today. Usually they will come right away, so maybe they are not able to get on, sign on the place. That's why it records on the clubhouse. It records on the Wisdom app, so no problem. I can repeat that so that people know what I'm talking about here, right? This is the book grew out of my passion, my goals, and it makes sense for me because I'm really contributing for the um, revival of our earth. Hopefully, we can revive. But one day I feel like we are beyond that point. where we are going to really lose the earth the way that we used to do, because there's still so many people are not convinced about this global heat. So many people are not really doing anything about it, because they think making money, going and having themselves a ball, really rich living, all that they thought that would be good. The damage that was done to the earth compared to before is too much, right? So it's a kind of very uh, ominous signs out there. The way the climate has changed, the way people are suffering because of that. Some of the countries like Bangladesh, they are submerged because of that. Okay, uh, so that is what is happening there. Okay, so we're talking about ebook today. Anyway, that's not working. So I would end this here for people on the YouTube, LinkedIn, and my Facebook group. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Thank you. Also, everybody on the clubhouse, thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.